screen navigator. The screen navigator. The screen navigator. Screen navigator.
Good morning, sweet world, and welcome to the No Dunks podcast presented by Amazon Prime. It's Thursday, May 15th, 2025. I'm Jay Skeets here in the Classic Factory, and alongside me, as always, Tass Mellis.
Basketball lovers, this one's for you.
Next to him, it's the bearded one, my top shot hot boy, Trey Kirby.
Ayo.
Ayo. And over yonder, making the magic happen, super producer JD.
Hello.
There he is. Here we are. Hello to everybody on YouTube. Hit the like button, subscribe, podcast listeners, 5-star ratings and reviews. That'd be great. We'll play a little Is This News on today's pod. Got some headlines for you guys, but yeah, the boys.
Let's go!
Favorite segment here in the Classic Factory. But we had some basketball games last night, and we had the Wolves eliminating the Warriors in a rowdy Game 5 environment, advancing to their second straight Western Conference Finals. That's pretty damn impressive in that loaded West. 6 Minnesota players scored in double figures, so everybody getting in on the fun. Mm-hmm. No Curry in Game 5. I know we'll look ahead to what the Warriors do next, but let's talk about Minnie going back to the WCF.
You're right, it was rowdy. Sometimes you literally couldn't hear the broadcasters, which was just nice. It was just so loud in there. Why shouldn't it be loud? They're watching Anthony Edwards, one of the best players of the 2020s. How far is he going? How high is he going? Second conference finals here in number 5 of his career. Could it be his first NBA Finals? I think there's definitely a possibility. Okay, see, we shall see. What I loved watching him in this game was the assists, was the passing, because he dropped 12, career high for him. He had never even reached double digits in assists in the postseason, and the field goals were just down. I mean, he basically had his fewest of the playoffs, dropping 13. He's only 23. He's getting better. He's climbing. The best assists, I thought, were to the old guy, speaking of age, to Mike Conley in that second quarter.
Oh, man.
Conley was awesome.
The 37-year-old that we didn't think we'd be talking about. We thought we'd be talking about other 37-year-olds in this series, but he was awesome, dropping 4 threes. That second quarter run where they went on a 17-5 run to end the second quarter. I mean, 20 assists on 25 made field goals in that first half. Edwards dropping 6 dimes, Conley dropping 4 dimes, Randle dropping 4 dimes. The trickle-down effect of Anthony Edwards being awesome back-to-back conference finals here is real. He has just had such an effect. On the other side, I know we all want to talk about the offense and what the heck happened with Steph going down, but this team that had the best defense after the Jimmy Butler trade just kind of fell apart. The last 5 halves of this series, at the beginning of Game 3, which it felt like the Jimmy Butler game, they had a really good first half, and then since then, each half, in Game 3, Game 4, and Game 5, it averaged 60 points in the last 5 halves of this series for the Warriors defensively. They gave up 62, 58, 59, 62, and 59. So 60 per half the last 5 halves. That's 30 points a quarter. I ain't getting it done.
Too many points.
And that's
a lot of points.
And that's just not the Steph factor, right? That's just this team not playing well together. And obviously getting out the 3-point shooters, which the Timberwolves' 3-point shooting was ridiculously good, especially because Ant was spraying it so well. This guy has got a LeBron Game 1 feel it type of vibe, right? He seems like Game 1, we might lose. Classic LeBron. But he'll figure it out. He obviously did figure it out. And yeah, the Jimmy Butler factor did not figure it out on the other end offensively. But the Wolves, credit them.
The Wolves picked the perfect moment to have one of their best shooting nights of the postseason here. They shot 63% from the floor, TK.
Pretty good. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 42% from deep. Mike Conley getting in on the fun, hitting 4 threes. They also scored a ton in the paint, 72 points to the Warriors' 48. And when they weren't turning the ball over, because that was like the one thing where you're like, okay, Minnesota, stop turning it over. They had 21 in this game. That's a lot. But when they weren't doing that, they were scoring more times than not. Everybody was just clicking last night to the point where they were dancing.
Oh, yeah.
Dancing in Minnesota.
It was an impressive performance by Minnesota. They understood the assignment. If we win tonight, Steph Curry's not playing. The series is over. They came out the biggest game they've had in Minnesota in 2 decades. This is the first home closeout game they've had in the playoffs since 2004. Like, the biggest celebration they had, remember, was when they won that play-in game. Patrick Beverley standing on the table going crazy. This was a game that, like, actually mattered. Like you're saying, the fans were totally hyped, and they didn't let them down at all. Actually had a lead at halftime, 15 points at the half. Game 2 is the only other time Minnesota led at halftime. They just came out and played a perfect game, and it totally starts with Anthony Edwards. Such a mature game for this guy. He got off the ball when there were double teams. He was driving the dribble penetration, and it wasn't usually to score. It was to draw help and find guys that filtered on down through the rest of the lineup. 36 assists on 49 makes. That's the second most any team has had in the playoffs this season. The ball was moving so incredibly well. The Warriors did get it close a little bit at the end, and then it was the defense for the Timberwolves that came through. A couple of steals here and there. You're going the other way. Easy baskets. That was super impressive. Julius Randle gets the I think you should leave, people can change award. This guy used to be a piece of shit, but he's not anymore.
He's not.
He is not, man. He was the most consistent Timberwolf throughout this series. He was awesome again last night. He won his matchup basically as the power forwards there with Draymond. Draymond had a great game 1, but really didn't have an answer for Randle at any time during this series, and that's why the Wolves won pretty easily after game 1. Warriors always talk about playing with joy. I felt like Julius Randle was playing with glee last night. You saw him dancing like a West Side Story backup dancer after making a 3. It's always Maria. Yeah. He had the and one right there at the end of the first half, and he was kind of like a Jeff Jarrett sort of strut. One hand, one, bum, bum, bum. Then in the second half, he had that wicked up and under layup, finishes with the left hand on the backside. All he could do was smile. He was just grinning ear to ear. He's like, that was sick. It was a great performance, top to bottom, for the Wolves last night. They saw what they had to do, and they did not give the Warriors really any sort of hope, I thought, in this game.
Yeah, in the clincher, 29 points, 8 boards, 5 assists, shooting 13 of 18, Julius Randle. And just, like, been amazing the entire postseason. I thought it was one thing to do it against the Lakers, who sort of lack a lot of bigs, and you're like, okay, yeah, you should take advantage of that. But to do it against Draymond Green, one of the best defenders we've seen over the last 20 years, I mean, especially after game 1, he sort of owned him. And like really neutralized him. I mean, not even neutralized, just like that was the advantage. It was tick in the box, Randle ahead of Draymond Green. He has scored 20 plus points in 8 of the Wolves' 10 postseason games. And this is a guy, like, there are like bits out there, Mike Zakarian, shout out to our guy, like, the joke was he's regular season Randle.
Yeah.
It's like he only puts up points in the regular season. Yeah, he'll make a couple All-NBA teams, but it's just regular season based. Once the playoffs come around, he disappears. Not right now. And again, I just keep going. Is this guy going to be the difference maker between a potential finals bound or championship Wolves team? It feels like his impact right now, the energy, the constant like 20 and 10, and then the assists, like it's awesome right now. And they just got to keep playing. Don't change anything.
Yeah, people are talking about it's nice to get this little bit of rest here as OKC in Denver is still going on, might go 7 games. I think the Timberwolves would like to play in 2 nights.
I do too.
Yeah.
I think they want OKC to win tonight. I think that would start on Sunday. That third or the Western Conference Finals if OKC wraps it up tonight. But yeah, keep this good
Happy Randle
going.
Is the best Randle because he's a guy, at least during his New York days, where if it would start to go poorly for Randle, he would just downward spiral. Remember the season he's giving thumbs down to Knicks fans and that kind of stuff. It never felt like he could pull himself out of a funk. He is in 0% funk right now, so keep it going.
Yeah. And let's see that clip, JD. I think you have it because I saw Trey tweet this morning. Curry couldn't believe Randle went West Side Story on him because he was doing the hands there. What
like,
great,
this is crazy, bro.
Great production work going to Curry's reaction of him shaking his head. And that sort of felt it. I know there was a lot of basketball still to be played in that game. It sort of felt like the game wrapped up right there when they went on that big run at the end of the first half, and then obviously put them to bed in 5.
Was that the moment you sent your group message of this is over?
No, I waited. I think it was a third quarter. Yeah, I wanted, obviously come out of the second half.
Yeah,
always got to see the start of a second half, and then they didn't really have it. I know.
I'm with you. I kind of like treat a team that's on the verge of being blown out like my kids. You got 15 minutes. Impress me.
Yeah. I think Reggie on one of the games the other night, I forgot to bring it up. He had a cool line like of a team like down, let's say 10 to 15 points at the half. He said, we always wanted to come out and make them call the first time out.
Yeah.
I like that. That was some good insight from Reggie.
Interesting.
Like, that's
Yeah.
sort of a cool way to approach it. Obviously, come into the locker room, have a good first couple of minutes where they panic and they say they got to call a timeout. But that wasn't, from what I can remember, that was not the case here in Game 5 last night. Minnesota was just as good to start the second half.
It was a unique call from Reggie. I've watched basketball a long time. Never heard a broadcaster
Yeah, I
say
liked
that
it.
or a former player say that. It was smart. It was smart, obviously, for Julius Randle to go play with Anthony Edwards, too. I mean, the trickle-down effect is just real with this guy. He said he was going to get Minnesota back to the conference finals. He promised the fans that he was going to do that. He obviously did that, especially because you got closeout Rudy Gobert on your team. This guy doesn't score in double digits unless it's a closeout game. Every single game this postseason, he's gone from the beginning. 2-6-1-5 were his points total scored. And then in the closeout game, 27. Bang! To start this series. 9-5, 9-8, and then this one. Bang! 17.
That's
you get double digits.
crazy.
Come on.
Rudy Gobert, the great closer.
I mean, everybody, yes, was freaking awesome in this
Yeah.
game. Rudy was 8 for 9. Jay McDaniels doing his thing. Mike Conley, we talked about those 4 threes. It was ridiculous to get that Anthony Edwards pass with basically 2 seconds left on the shot clock late in the second quarter. And Mike Conley just has to chuck one up from deep, and he does it. To have a 16-point game from him to go along with 8 assists and 6 boards, what a freaking performance. Like, we could just literally go down everyone on the roster. DiVincenzo came alive shooting the threes. And Naz Reid had a meh game. And so did Nickeil Alexander-Walker, but what a performance. Just a stacked lineup against a Warriors team, obviously, that was looking, and we saw a Brandon Pajemski game in this one, which was great. And Kuminga back again. Ooh, can't wait to see what the offseason and Jonathan Kuminga's future looks like here. Is he coming back? Who knows? Because they're obviously looking for a fourth guy. I call him a fourth scorer. I want to say a fourth scorer. No, they need a third scorer. They need a second scorer. They need a lot of things. Will he come back on this team that has obviously got so much money tied up in Steph and Dre and Jimmy? So it's going to be really tough for them to get somebody. But what will
At the
happen
very
to
least,
Kuminga?
like, Kuminga's trade value is a little bit better. He was
think
out of
so,
the
yeah.
rotation, and it wasn't looking good, but he finished this series going 18 points, 30, 23, 26. You see the talent as a scorer. You see the athleticism that he brings to the Warriors, which they needed this series and honestly probably could have used in the Houston series as well. The front office loves this dude. He's basically a Joe Lacob guy, but the coaching staff and the players don't really think he fits with them on the court because he's freelancing for most of the time over there. So more than likely he's like a sign and trade candidate because they need some size, they need some shooting going forward. Like Quentin Post was solid this season, but you could upgrade that position certainly. And Looney is at the tail end of his career, you know. So the Warriors are going to be interesting to see, but I think it's at least a silver lining that Kuminga at least is alluring to other teams out there, I would have to think.
Yeah, look, give him credit. He was like the one Warriors guy who wasn't afraid to shoot, attack, score. I mean, a lot of guys. Like, it's sort of wild when you think about it. And I know Curry not playing changes the entire, like, you know, just calculation of this team. But Kerr played 13 guys, right, in a do or die elimination game. Like, that's just... And like 6 of these guys should not be playing like postseason minutes. 6, 7, maybe more. Like, it's a lot of guys that are like, yeah, okay, they should be like garbage time guys. Sure, you want them on your team. I get it. They're there for practice and stuff, but not in a do or die game. But he just kept searching, like he's starting TJD, and then what? He plays like 7 minutes.
Yeah.
He's like, he starts him, pulls him right out. Starts him in the second half, pulls him right out. Going to everybody. I guess Moody gave him a little stretch there. That was nice, but he was generally bad throughout the entire series. Like, so many guys, like, they had their moments. Kuminga, the best of them. But Kuminga, Looney, and Gary Payton II all headed for free agency. It'll be interesting to see what they do, what they can do. You're going to hear a whole lot of Giannis to the Warriors trade rumors. I don't know how that's going to happen. That has to mean, basically, that Butler or Draymond Green is included in that sort of deal because they just don't have contracts, really, to sort of make it work without including them. So the Bucks are not going to want one of those guys. I can't imagine. So that means they got to be like rerouted to a third team with the talent and the picks coming back. Could it happen? I guess anything's possible in this crazy NBA, but I just don't see them having the literally the players and the salaries to make it work. Kuminga, of course, would be the piece going to, but you just got to get to a lot of money with Giannis. Yeah. And it's got to be it's not going to be Curry, so it's got to be Butler or Draymond Green.
Oh yeah, baby, it's fun time already. Maybe Lauri Markkanen is part of the talks again. That's a decent possibility. I think you have to give up less probably for him. And the Utah Jazz just swung and missed here on the NBA draft lottery, so maybe they just say, all right, we need to trade for somebody rather than just wait for a draft pick. So there's that option. There's interesting stuff there that can happen. I will say, yeah, we can get to the Jimmy Butler, not performing in the last couple games and all that. But again, the defense, you mentioned Draymond Green, that's disappointing for me on the Warriors side that they just couldn't get it done. And yeah, it starts with Draymond Green, that they just couldn't turn down the Wolves a little bit at some point. But I guess it was after that first half in game 3 when things looked good and things just went straight down from there for 2.5 games. When, yes, from the Timberwolves, of course, they're looking at this like, baby, this is the season right here. We don't have to see Steph again. But also from the Warriors side, this is the season. Steph may come back if we can play a good half of basketball. Which didn't happen. It was that
game 3 that we all brought up. It's like that was the one. You got the great Jimmy Butler performance. You were in the game. You couldn't close it out and give yourself a chance to get Curry back. Yeah. Once they lost that, felt tough. But it's a weird team to assess, right? Because they make the Butler move. They become the best defense in the league for those couple months. They're 23-7 when Curry and Butler are playing together. They beat the second-seeded Rockets. Now it took 7, but that's a really good team, and Curry was special. Jimmy had his moments, and then he gets injured in game 1, and it's like, I guess what I'm getting at is like, do you just sort of like, do you run back the old core because you liked what you saw for a couple months despite flaming out in the end, and playoff Jimmy looking not at all like playoff Jimmy? Now that's like maybe broken ass Jimmy because he's probably in a lot of pain. And
Jimmy butt hurts.
Jimmy butt hurts, that's right. Do you do that though? Curry 37, Jimmy 36, Draymond 35. They're old, getting older. They haven't figured out a way to turn back time yet.
Right.
Or do you make a drastic move in trying to move like a Jimmy or a Draymond, I guess?
If you're getting Giannis, yeah.
Okay.
If you're getting Giannis, I would trade either one of those guys, but I assume that this will be the team coming back next year because it wasn't about this year for the Warriors. They thought it was about this year and the next couple of years where Curry's already signed. His contract matches up with Draymond, which now matches up with Jimmy Butler as well. They put these 3 together to try and win in the next 3 postseasons. Didn't work out this year due to injuries. We'll see what happens going forward, but I don't think the plan was just this season with these guys. Unfortunately, though, this would have been an awesome series if Curry played.
Yeah.
It would have been, yeah.
And a lot of people still had the Wolves advancing in that scenario, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, a lot of people taking the Wolves, some people taking Warriors in 6 or 7. It was going to be obviously a much more competitive series. I don't think it ends in 5 if Steph Curry is healthy and playing. I don't, as great as the Wolves have looked, but that's who knows, because he didn't play. And he only played 13 minutes in the end?
That's right. Yeah, he went out in the first half.
Yeah, and they got that one, but couldn't win from here on out. Saw people saying this is a gentleman's sweep. No. This is a douchebag sweep, you said.
It's a DB.
Yeah. Don't forget about the douchebag sweep. And this one we almost can't even call a douchebag sweep because you have the Curry injury.
The game changed.
Yeah, it changes the equation completely. But gentleman's sweep, to us here at No Dunks, that is only you win the first 3 games, and as a gentleman, you doff your cap and give them game 4. Usually at home because you're the better team. You're the higher ranked team.
Yep.
You give them game 4. You give them a victory in front of their fans to end their season in style. And then you go home and take care of business in game 5. That's the gentleman's sweep. People like to throw around gentleman's sweep for any series that ends in 5, and I do not like it. I do not care for it, and I'm speaking for the both of you as well. We're not going to stand for it.
It's fine. Yeah, okay, it felt like a gentleman's sweep in the conference finals last year when the Minnesota Timberwolves were down 3-0, and they won game 4. That one was on the road, but still, it's gentlemanly. Yeah, You don't want to go away with a sweep. So here you go.
Yes.
Yeah, have a victory.
That's the gentleman part of it.
Yeah.
We could win this, but we will give you this.
Yeah, we would prefer to win it in front of our fans.
Yes.
It's good for everybody.
Right.
You get to celebrate in front of your fans. We get to celebrate in front of our fans.
Thank you.
We know the guy who invented the gentleman's sweep.
That's right. We do.
We danced with that man just recently.
Oh, my God. Did we ever dance? Holy crap. Shout out to Graydon. Any other notes on Wolves Warriors, either this game, the Wolves moving forward into the Western Conference Finals, or the Warriors offseason? Anything else you want to touch on?
I got a note and I got a question. Let's start with the note. Nas Reed tipped in a Warriors miss from so far away. He was like outside the lane when he tipped that in. I always love that because you get to see who on the offensive team is nearby, will throw their hand up as soon as possible. Like, please give me credit for that. It was Draymond.
You got that one?
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
Yeah, he was running down the court, arm raised. Yeah, that was me.
Some of his few points.
Yeah, that was far back. Good tip. But yeah, my question was going to be to you. Great quote from Chris Finch. John Krasinski had it over at The Athletic. Were you a Western Conference Finals team, or were you a team that just happened to make the Western Conference Finals? That's straight up bars from Chris Finch. So my question to you, Who's the more surprising back-to-back conference finalists? The Pacers or the Wolves?
Oh,
I think it's the Pacers.
Really? Despite being in the Eastern Conference, the much easier conference, no offense to them, they're awesome.
They're awesome. Yeah, I just expected this of Anthony Edwards. I mean, I'm being I'm being biased here. But when a guy gets bounced in the conference finals and he promises his city and he says he feels bad the way they got eliminated by the Mavs, yeah, the Pacers are obviously an incredible team. But that's a great question.
I like it. That is great. Chris Finch is on one right now. He's having a great postseason.
And he's like their second best quote guy.
Yeah.
They're just saving Mike and Nori. Saving him for the conference finals.
Well, geez, how do you rank? I mean, Anthony Edwards has to be included in the best quote guys on the
that's
Wolves.
a great call.
So they
Great
got a three-headed monster there when it comes to the quotes.
Finch has got it all. He's got a drop. Whoa,
Oh,
baby.
we got a fire alarm going on.
Chris
off in
Finch
here?
is hot.
We must be cooking in here.
Oh man, this is a first in the Classic Factory, JD. We could find out if we need to evacuate or
We
not.
do not.
Okay, good.
This thing has been malfunctioning for days.
What was it?
Batteries?
That's a fire alarm.
Oh, okay. I thought you
yeah.
were saying this thing and you were touching your computer.
No.
Okay.
They're waving away nothing
smoke.
right now.
Okay.
Yeah,
Anyways,
don't
Chris
worry.
Finch is hot. Maybe it's. I will say I want Chris Finch to drop all the things that he says to Julius Randle, because this guy was his assistant coach for 1 year in New Orleans, and said he connected with him, and he demands a lot of his players, and he's demanded something of Julius Randle. So I give all the credit to Anthony Edwards, but I should be giving a lot of credit to Chris Finch, because he is your Popovich type of coach, where he just asks so much of his players to be hot. There you go. There you go. Yep.
Is anybody else in the house right now, or are we gonna have to deal with it ourselves here? Okay. Hopefully it'll go off. Okay, there goes JD. I guess
Well,
we'll talk
looks
about
good.
this game a little bit more. Go on, somebody give me a note. Oh, there he goes.
You want me to go switch to the lower third?
Holy crap. Guys, the factory's falling apart before our very eyes.
Yeah,
The
struggling.
sign's
We
been
got no
off
sign.
for months. Things are falling. We keep hearing things. The other day we did a show and something just straight up fell. Remember that?
Oh,
Scared
yeah.
the hell out of us.
Yeah.
Now we got fire alarms going off.
Exciting times.
All right, we
Yeah,
got
things looking good.
it was too hot in the house. That's why the fire alarm was going off. So we got the air conditioning on now.
It's warming up around here.
Mad humidity everywhere.
I should turn it on in here. I don't know why I turned it off.
All right, we pulled the people. More
Okay.
surprising, Pacers or Timberwolves? 81% are saying the Pacers.
Maybe they don't get the respect they deserve.
Okay.
Underchalked.
It's a great question.
Underchalked,
It's a
for
great
sure,
question because
yeah.
you can talk yourself into either
Yep.
side of that. I think people are diminishing a little bit. Again, the Western Conference is loaded.
That's why was why it would be Wolves for me, just because
Yeah.
it's like, look at this team.
Yeah.
Or look at this conference they got to go through.
Like look, and I know again the Curry injury changes everything. But if I had told you, hey, the Wolves are going back to the Western Conference Finals before the postseason start, you go, okay, cool. Who do they play? They take down a young Rockets team. What do they? Whatever. Beat the Clippers, whatever. And I say, no. They're gonna beat LeBron, Luka, and the Lakers, and then they're gonna beat Curry, Jimmy Butler, Draymond Green, and the Warriors. And you'd go, really? I don't know. Yeah. That's pretty impressive.
I picked them in both series, so I wouldn't be. So.
Okay.
I wouldn't say.
He's good. No wonder the fire alarm went off. This guy's hot.
Jesus.
Well, no, they had an incredible end to the season, and it was after Julius Randle came back from his injury. That's when they went 17-4 to end the season, and people had wondered, are they consistent? And suddenly they got consistent. Now the Pacers were consistent since January 1st. So
Yeah. Pacers did beat a 64-win team though in the Cavs, who took their foot off the gas at the end too. So
there were injuries. There were injuries. If you want to say the Steph injury was an injury, there were injuries.
injuries
there
at every series.
yes, we all get hurt. We all set the fire alarm off, and
We all get hurt.
we all get hurt.
Yeah, we need one of those signs that says that you change the day, how many days there's been since so and so, like drama free here in the Classic Factory or whatever.
Oh.
Okay.
Like they have accident free, I guess, in factories.
Yeah. We're at 0.
We're at 0 for the last
Back
while.
to 0.
We've been at 0 every day here,
Yeah.
I would say, for the last week in terms of like YouTube streams malfunctioning, things
we had a robot
falling.
yesterday.
Yeah.
Forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of injuries, no Jason Tatum playing last night. Didn't matter to the Celtics. Earlier in the night, Celtics lived to play another day, beating the Knicks 127-102 in Game 5, narrowing New York's series lead to 3-2. Game 5, first time that the Celtics didn't lead by at least 9 points at halftime, Trey. It was tied 59-59, but it was also the first time that Boston didn't struggle there in the second half, and they were dominant in the third quarter and put the game away there.
Yeah, Reggie Miller started this game out by saying that Tom Thibodeau wrote 2 words on the whiteboard. Well, he said chalkboard, but he said 2 words from Tom Thibodeau for the New York Knicks: toughness and discipline. And I feel like they failed on both accounts last night. Knicks got beat on the glass by a team missing their leading rebounder in Jason Tatum. They got outscored 36-26 points in the paint, outscored 16-14 in the second chancers. That's your toughness right there. The discipline factor, the Knicks had no idea what they were doing on defense, it felt like, for the majority of this night. Are we hedging? Is cat and drop? Are we switching?
Yeah.
They should have been switching the entire time. No Jason Tatum. The guy's their best one-on-one player. Should have forced the Celtics to try and play a little bit more one-on-one basketball, but what resulted was a lot of open three-point looks, most of them for Derek White, and he was knocking them down. Went 7 3-pointers last night, and then way too many fouls for the Knicks, most of them taking place in the third quarter. Was kind of crazy. Jalen Brunson picked up 5 fouls in 9 minutes in the third quarter, and 4 of them were like legit. He did get clocked in the face on one, which is a tough call, but I guess his face was in the way. But Jason Tatum wasn't playing, but the spirit of Jason Tatum was inside of Jaylen Brown. I thought 26 points, 12 assists, 8 rebounds. That is a Jason Tatum line right there. It's a career high in assists for Jaylen Brown. It's his first playoff game with double digits. He was so good when the Knicks got into foul trouble. I think it was maybe 9 minutes left in the third quarter. They were already in the bonus, and Jaylen Brown was like, I'm going to the hoop. I'm going to go to the free throw line as many times as possible. So he was their Jason Tatum, and Derek White became their Jaylen Brown. He finished so many plays for the Celtics last night. They played great. Their backs were against the wall. Porzingis was giving them nothing. And Joe Mazzulla said, "Give me Luke. Let the bird fly." The Luke Kornet game, they're calling it. And I'm willing to call this a near triple-double for
Sure, I
Luke
think that's
Kornet.
fair.
He finished with 10 points, 8 rebounds, 9 rebounds, and 7 blocks. He was awesome. Basically just not guarding Josh Hart. Hart made him pay a few times from 3, but eventually Kornet even got out to a 3-pointer from Josh Hart, blocked it in the corner, caught a reverse alley-oop in the fourth quarter as well. Like I said, he started the second half for Porzingis. That was the game changer for the Celtics. The way he was rolling to the hoop, the defensive intensity he brought. You got to wonder if he starts game 6.
Oh, yeah. I think so. I definitely think so. Joe Mazzulla was asked after the game, was Kristaps Porzingis all right? And he said, yeah, I think he'll play in game 6, but he couldn't breathe out there.
Yeah, I would say that's not all right.
Not great.
No, I wouldn't say all right, but it made him seem like he's going to play. But yes, how sick is he? What is his condition? Because he keeps on playing games.
It's
but he
getting
literally,
worse and worse.
Yeah, that is the questionable part. But it definitely feels like Luke Kornet got his face ready. He shaved. He was ready for this game. It was a clean cut Luke Kornet. That third quarter was ridiculous. To have 5 blocks in that quarter. Did you guys see the stat going around?
Oh, I did.
Oh, that's
About his stat, about his quarter and how
About the
great it
quarter.
was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kornet played the entire third quarter, 4 points, 5 block shots, 5 boards in just that third quarter. That really changed the game. According to Crazy Stats, Hakeem Olajuwon is the only player since 96-97, since the NBA started tracking play-by-play data, to match or exceed Kornet's production in a single playoff quarter.
Oh,
that's the stat I saw. He had an Hakeem Olajuwon quarter.
I had a different stat, but it definitely played. Hakeem Olajuwon played a part of that one. Players with 5 rebounds and 5 blocks since 1997 in one quarter. There's only 5 of them. Luke Kornet is now one of them, along with Hakeem Olajuwon. There's 3 others since 97 who've had 5 boards and 5 blocks in a quarter, according to our man Lawmer.
Dwight Howard.
Diggity Dwight did it, and 2 more.
Ben Wallace?
No.
Shaq.
No.
Gobert?
No.
Dikembe.
No.
Wow.
Garnett?
No.
Rudy?
No. No. You'll know one guy for blocks.
Mark
Alonzo
Eaton?
Mourning?
No. More current than led the league in blocks since it's a more modern player.
Camby?
No.
Modern player.
Serge Ibaka?
Yes.
Okay. Well, 5 rebounds is actually surprising for him in a quarter.
Yeah, and then one very surprising one. 2012 for the Denver Nuggets.
2012.
You wouldn't think of him as a Nugget, I don't think.
Iguodala?
No, he's a monster of a player.
Big old
He won
boy.
championships as a role player. Like he definitely started for these teams, but Just a guy you don't think of. You think of him as
Antonio
a dunk.
McDyess?
No. Maybe you think of him as a dunk
Kenyon
contest
Martin.
guy. No.
Oh.
You don't think of him as a Denver Nugget. L.A., Golden State. You just don't think of him. Washington Wizards, even.
Big old
Chris
dude.
Webber?
No.
Nene Hilario?
No.
Jason Richardson.
No. You call him a knucklehead. He won championships recently with the Bubble Lakers.
Call him a knucklehead.
I don't know. Knucklehead's not
JaVale
the right word.
McGee.
JaVale
JaVale.
McGee.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Anyways, crazy
Nice.
stats.
So those were just the blocks
one.
and the rebounds in a
Yes.
quarter. I added the points. I guess that gets you to Akeem, which is wild.
Well, that's a great stat. That third quarter was ridiculous, where the Knicks only shot 4 of 20, and Luke Kornet had 5 blocks in that frickin' thing. Brunson had 5 fouls. But yes, the Celtics turned it on, especially defensively. Yes, Jaylen Brown was the new Jason Tatum, being that spray guy and setting up Derek White. But to see him get that steal on Jalen Brunson and dive onto the floor and keep it in, I mean, they were playing for the frickin'
cool.
Well, from
series.
the jump, even that was a change they did. Put Jaylen Brown on Brunson, try and slow him. Man, he was locked in defensively, and then he had
Really good.
obviously the offensive burden as well. Brown did. I wrote early in my notes, Brown is playing like a guy who's not ready to hit the beach. And that was before what you said, Tass. Before that awesome steal, dive into his own bench to save it. Oh my God, that guy did not want to lose in front of his home crowd, and he wants to at least give them a chance there in Madison Square Garden on Friday night. That's going to be fun. I saw Schumann with a great stat too about Jaylen Brown trying to slow Brunson. The Knicks set 41 ball screens for Brunson, but Jaylen Brown just wasn't giving up the switch in a lot of those, wasn't giving them up early. So he was fighting his ass off defensively, in addition to the 26, 12, and 8. So
Play the song, JD.
that's right.
The screen navigator.
Yeah, he is.
He was, man. It just takes effort. These guys can do it. They're all professional athletes, but it takes effort. And he did a great job. And then, of course, Brunson with the weird fouls. I love the part where Brunson fouled out. They put him on the Jumbotron. He noticed he was on the big screen. He waved at the crowd.
Very funny. Very
Hilarious.
It's like anyone you put on TV, they're like, you're on live TV. They'll wave.
Yeah, it's too funny.
It was so good. Anyone else from this one?
Well, it is funny that even with Jason Tatum hurt, I know we mentioned Derek White, but he still kind of gets overlooked. Like, okay, splashing threes.
Oh, yeah.
Classic Derek White. 7 splashed threes. 7 of 13. But then I just think of the defense in this game. He had huge blocks. He goes out and blocks Karl Anthony Towns, a 7-footer in the corner, blocking his shot. He's blocking everybody. So Derek White, a classic unheralded star, but he was super important to drop 34 in this game, because he even brought it up and started shooting. And when everybody's coming out to him, the drive was there, so he was just phenomenal.
Oh, yeah. That was fun at the end of the first half when both teams caught fire there for a second, because you had Brunson scoring, you had Josh Hart hitting threes, and then you had Pritchard and Derek White splashing threes. Like, the points went tick, 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 and it was 59-59 at the half, and I think it was like White and Brown had a combined 36 points at the half. Like, it was doing a lot of the heavy lifting with all the threes from White and Brown, obviously getting to the line and setting guys up. Not easy to eliminate the defending champs with or without Tatum. So that was cool. And now, I don't know if the buttholes get tight there on Friday night in Madison Square Garden. I don't know if you start going, they gotta win, can't go back to Boston, win game 7 on the road, but at least we get more basketball.
Yeah, I mean, I think a little bit of pressure on the Knicks. They had their biggest game ever in game 3. It did not go well. This was their next biggest game. Did not go well. So you got to be thinking, we need to hear more from Karl Anthony Towns. Tass did mention him. I mentioned him too, but it just like literally passing mentions. I looked it up. He played in the third quarter, but I didn't notice it. Yeah. This was not a good Towns game. I did like, though, in the third quarter, Boston is up 13, and they go to smack a Mitch, send Mitchell Robinson to the line to shoot free throws. He made both of them right there, and then hit him with the Steph Curry night-night after he hit the second one. 6 for 6 at the free throw line on the night for Mitchell Robinson. He says, please foul me.
He did have a good game.
Yeah.
He was getting deflections and 13 rebounds and hit the free throws, which was huge. But yeah, you're right about Cat. This was one of those Cat games where we, in the past, have said, what are you doing, man? Why are you fouling there? Why are your limbs not working? Why are you making that face? It's like no real good rhythm for him in this game. So he has to have a much, much better performance, especially, let's be honest, you better win the Kornet-Horford matchup there, Kat.
Yes.
In Game 6 at
Yes.
home. You better. That better be for you, the advantage for the Knicks. How about the second half there, starting with the shoving match, too? Refs did a good job of handling it quickly. I was so shocked by how fast we were giving out techs to the two guys. I'm talking about Brown and Hart. And then it was a common foul on Brown because I assessed that he did maybe a little bit of a dick grab or a dick punch. Or, I don't know if it was a lower stomach area. I don't know where you want to say it was. But they did it quick. I was like, oh, we can do this. It doesn't need to take 15 minutes of us looking at this. They were all over that one.
They were all over it, and that was a quick interaction, right? That was like 12 seconds into the half. It felt
was
like
the start of it.
Yeah,
It was the start of it. And then in the first quarter, this was on the same play, right, where we had Brunson chucking his little elbow that caught Jaylen Brown below the belt or right there. No call on that. And as obviously he continued, and the ball got to Josh Hart. He then goes in, and Kornet caught him with an inadvertent elbow and just busted up Josh Hart's face. The blood just streaming down.
Oh yeah,
like as if like a makeup artist would do this. Like it's so perfect. And he got the stitches there, and he was still in this game. Like he was about to go back to the locker. They're like, dude, you're going to the line.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, oh yeah, let me get out here, hit these free throws,
Catch me up,
wipe the blood off, change my jersey, and then continue to play.
They had a full uniform next to him.
Yeah,
just waiting.
That was so quick to get to
Did
him.
somebody run back and get it?
He needed to change his shorts and his jersey.
There was a lot of blood. It was like I don't know. Was that more blood than Porzingis
I think so.
or less?
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know for sure.
More blood on the uniform, at
Yeah.
the very least. That'd be a cool pair of game-used shorts to get on eBay. I mean, the team did lose, so not the greatest memory, but they would look pretty sick.
They go on to win, yeah.
But he changed shorts so fast that, like, Reggie's like, oh, he's going to have to change his shorts, too. Wait, he already changed his shorts?
Yeah.
How did they do that?
Yeah, pulled him off right on the court, but we didn't see it. They didn't get footage of that.
No.
We need the Hawkeye camera. We got to see
The Hawkeye.
We got to see those spandex.
Do players now start to put Vaseline on their face like they're an MMA fighter? Because that's where he got hit, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right at the
Yeah,
elbow.
yeah.
If you got Vaseline, maybe it slips off, but obviously it starts pouring down his entire face. That's a lot of blood.
Yeah. But he obviously continued to play. Actually, had a pretty good game where he was hitting threes for sure. They
Season
part of
high.
the equation. They were
Season
leaving
high
him,
in
but-
threes with 5 splashers.
So Wolves closing out the Warriors last night. Teams that have trailed 3-1 in a best-of-7 have come back to win the series just 13 times. That's 4.4%. 295 opportunities. So odds are still certainly against the Celtics, under 5%. But again, Friday night, you get that one, and then things get real fun in a Game 7.
And the Celtics have scored 35 more points in this series.
Yeah, that's
They're
right.
plus 35.
That's right.
I don't know. I'm not going to go into the numbers, but how many teams that are plus 20, 30, or whatever to come back? They do it. They do it. They do it more often than other teams.
JD's checking the temperature here in the Classic Factor.
How
They
are-
have had 14-plus point lead in every single one of these games so far, right? And the Celtics, once upon a time, got down 3-0, forced a Game 7. Lost the
right.
Game 7, but they can do some weird stuff.
You
What
can do
else? Anything else from this one that we see? You think Kornet starts? You don't even like waste those minutes of trying to see what you get from Porzingis in Game 6, or do you? Where do you go if you're Joey Maz?
You can always bring Porzingis off the bench.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do think that the Knicks will be more ready for it. I don't think Tom Thibodeau is necessarily the most proactive coach with adjustments, but he's good with reacting to adjustments. So I assume the Knicks will be more ready for a role guy to be in there if they start Kornet. But I would give him the first shot, and if it's not going well, you can go back to Porzingis and see if he's got anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he was just being really great at defending the roller. I mean, he was just good at it. And I think he's able to do that better than Kristaps right now. I mean, he looked real agile out there.
Yes.
So how can you go away from him?
Yeah.
I don't know.
We saw some Torrey Craig minutes.
Yep.
Sam Hauser back. I mean, that's a nice addition. He did hit a couple threes.
Yeah.
Coming back from his injury. So we'll see. Game 6. What do you think in the stream team? You think this goes 7, or do the Knicks close it out there on Friday night? Man, that ticket's getting more and more expensive. They were saying it was like $900 just to get in to Game 4.
Wow.
So that's got to be, I don't know. You would assume it's even more on a Friday night. to potentially close out
Friday night
the series and go to the
closeout.
Western
They haven't
Conference
closed out
Finals.
a series at home since 1999.
I
Isn't
think
that the
that's
thing?
right. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Pickleball reservations should be fairly easy to get, though, I imagine.
Well, yeah, to get in. Unless
Yeah,
there's a
exactly.
back door we don't know about. Yeah. Come in through the kitchen.
Oh! Tim
That's what
Chalamet
pickleball
sitting
is.
courtside in Boston.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about that? You think him and Dave Portnoy had a chat about anything?
Probably not.
I don't know. I mean, I guess Chalamet, he's gone on McAfee, hasn't he?
He's a sports guy for sure.
Yeah,
He likes
I think he
sports.
He was wearing that 90s starter Knicks jacket. Yeah, he was looking great out there. But he almost it seemed like he was trying to keep it undercover a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, the glasses and.
Couldn't even tell it was him.
Nope.
Well, he'll be there on Friday night for sure. All right, let's get into some Is This News? All right. You guys were pumped 30 minutes ago for this. Where's that energy right now?
Oh, yeah!
No, these
You
are
want some headlines?
Yeah, these
we
are
got
they're
'em.
not the greatest
come on,
headlines.
better
I
than
don't got a lot to give you, but let's get into them. Draymond Green was
They're
fined
decent.
$50,000 by the NBA on Wednesday for making an inappropriate comment that questions the integrity of game officials during that loss to the Wolves. I guess back in Game 3. Green's fine was for a comment made after he had fouled out, referring to the 5.5-point spread among sports books. Is this news? Was that Game 3 or Game 4? I think it was Game 3. Yeah,
It was game 3. 'Cause
Yeah.
He felt like we're going to win this thing.
Yeah.
Don't knock me out of this game.
Yeah, it was Game 3.
Don't call me for fouls.
So, okay, this one coming from ESPN. Draymond Green fined for questioning refs' integrity. Is this news? Tasmel, let's get us started here.
Oh, it's news. It is news for the NBA. They don't want this headline everywhere. This headline was everywhere. I checked it out. It was on Fox News. It was on AP. It was on The Guardian. It was on the New York Post. They don't want more and more headlines of guys questioning the integrity of this league.
When it comes to
Period.
gambling, for sure.
Yeah, yes, exactly. And it's just so prominent in this league right here, right now. I wonder what the conversations are at the governor's meeting in Las Vegas about how much fans are seeing it everywhere. Because actually it was on The Athletic just recently. They did the anonymous players poll, and they asked them about gambling, and the takes from players on gambling and how much they hate it, predominantly just despise how much fans are talking to them about it, just how much ridicule is around it, and how much they don't like it. And the integrity has become a problem for some players, period. And so I wonder how much that is a factor going into next season. Now, maybe it's not a huge factor. We saw Rudy Gobert do the money signal last year. He was found $100K.
Yeah.
So that's double what Draymond was fired. But still,
Interesting.
yeah,
Yeah.
it is interesting when you
It's-
compare it.
I guess it's slightly different because Gobert was more directed at the officials.
Yeah.
Right? Now, I guess you could say Draymond was sort of too fouling out, but then this was weird because the Wolves were leading 102-94 with like 15 seconds left, and that's when he was seen doing the whole mouthing thing. It didn't happen when Draymond went out of the game,
Sure.
which was like 4.5 minutes. It was later with him on the bench that he's seen mouthing the 5.5-point spread, and then what happens? They take a bunch of threes. Kuminga hits one, so they covered. Because I guess the Wolves were the 5.5-point favorites.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
the Warriors covered because they lost by 5 in that game. Anyway, my point is that like directed at the officials or more just the concept of the sports books and the gambling and all that?
And you don't get the visual that you'll always have with Rudy Gobert
right,
doing the
right,
money
right.
signal.
Yeah.
So that should cost even more, and I'm sure that angers the or the league office even more so than this comment about a spread, which is weird.
Yeah. What do you think? Is this news? I mean, he's just been eliminated, so
Yeah, I mean, I was just hoping we'd get an instigator point since now my entire team is eliminated.
Oh,
but
is it? Okay.
While in the lead. ESPN had this stat according to Spotrac. Draymond Green has been fined $992,000 in his career, $185,000 coming from actions toward officials. I think he probably thinks his money well spent. He's like, I'll complain to officials. $1 million. Who cares? Who cares? It's worth it for all I get to say. The two other things that this tells me: A, Draymond knew the spread.
That's
He
interesting.
knew the spread going in. Interesting. Number 2, I think the NBA has figured things out. They're not going to fine you for doing the big balls dance anymore, but if you bring up gambling insinuations, you will get fined. They're fighting the right things at this point.
Yeah, interesting. Well,
Yeah,
you're
we should be able to celebrate.
messing with money, though.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Next one here. This one came out of nowhere yesterday. According to NBA insider Mark Stein, the Atlanta Hawks are interested in hiring Toronto Raptors president Masai Ujiri for their vacant head of basketball operations role. Tesla, again, let's start with you. You're the Raps fan here. Is this news? Hawks eyeing Masai Ujiri?
I don't think this is news. I think Masai Ujiri is the king of Canada. If there's anyone who's going to prevent Canada from becoming the 51st state, it's this guy. And look, from the Atlanta side, they haven't had a president of basketball for 2.5 years, really. They've had a GM in Landry Fields, and they got rid of him because they want somebody to take over that front office and be an incredible front office leader with incredible resume and repertoire. I get it from their perspective.
Right.
Of course. It definitely makes sense. But I just don't see it happening. We haven't heard rumors like this in a few years as far as Masai Ujiri leaving. Now, maybe he wants to pass the torch to Bobby Webster. I suppose that there's a chance. But how likely is this going to happen? I just don't see it happening. But he's built an incredible thing in Toronto, and I think he wants to see it through, where he's got these 4 players now that he's signed to big deals that haven't obviously paid off quite yet in Barnes and Quickly, and now Brandon Ingram and RJ Barrett. So I'm guessing he wants to see it through for a couple more years. Mark Stein is very credible, though, so it is a question. It is a question. I'm sure ATL wants him, but I just don't know how much he wants to leave.
What do you think?
I think this headline should be rewritten.
Okay.
Raptors Masai Ujiri interested in leverage for next contract with Raptors.
Could be.
We hear this all the time with Masai.
Yeah.
It's usually the Knicks, which actually makes sense a little bit. Moving to a bigger market with a premier team in the NBA, this feels very much like a lateral move to me. Raptors, Hawks. So I think Tass is right. Hawks would love to get Masai, but it seems unrealistic. He's trying to build something in Toronto. I don't honestly know which scenario is better, the Raptors or the Hawks at this point.
It's fair. I'm thinking it. That's a very good point. Look, Masai is not like... We haven't seen the best work from Masai over the last couple of years. The Siakam trade and the OG trade, they came too late, and they were not great returns, in my personal opinion. Especially the Siakam.
He built 2 conference finalists.
He did help
Indiana and New York.
That's right. He's actually killing it. Yeah, you're right. That's a good point. But the Siakam one especially, but we've gone over that, and I don't need to go over that again. Good stuff from the Hawks here. I like seeing Atlanta Hawks wanting to target obviously a prominent name like Masai Ujiri, and there are a couple other names that Stein is reporting on too. I love the idea of some bold ambition here to try and get a real voice to take over and reshape their basketball identity. Like that a lot. But I'm with you, TK. We've seen and heard this dance before with Masai Ujiri. Is it a leverage play just to get obviously more money, more prominent role? I mean, he basically has the highest role you can get with the Raps. So outside of just straight up owning the team, I don't know where he goes next. Maybe he's just tired and moving on. That does happen with these GMs from time to time. It's okay, I've done my part here. I even won a championship here. Maybe I just try something else. I guess it's possible. But I like it from Atlanta, just these showing some we want the best of the best, at least in their mind, to come here and try and lead our team. So that's cool. But yeah, we'll see here. Also, there's a bunch of Giannis to the Raptors trade rumors now here too. We're not doing that again. We can't do that again. We've done it before, Tess.
Just going through the rumors, you mean?
Just going through the idea that Giannis is going to go to the Raptors. You think that's actually going to happen?
Well, probably not.
No, it's not. It's not. So don't get our hopes up. We don't even want to talk about it.
Have they signed his best friend? I remember when that was a thing. Gravis Vasquez is a Raptor, so they're getting Kevin Durant.
Yes, I do remember. Well, it's funny you brought that up. I think one of the other names rumored for this head role in Atlanta is Giannis's agent. The Greek, I know he has 2 Greek agents. I can't remember which one it is.
Alex Karatzis?
That one. Yes. Apparently his name is coming up in these talks.
What about his brother? He's got a great podcast.
Oh my god!
Oh yeah, you signed for him.
I had to wait to see which brother you were going to say. If you said Alex, I wouldn't have got upset.
What about Kostas?
Oh, I always
Also
forget
another-
about him.
But Thanasis is the podcast.
Yes, he is.
Well, yes.
What's it called? JK, Jonathan Kuminga.
You hire friends. That happens in the NBA
Yeah.
very often. Bring them in, and it helps out. Although Trey threw out the poll here. Which team has a better scenario? Is it the Raptors or the Hawks that the fans are saying?
I'll end the poll at this very
How did you
minute.
word it? Can I hear the exact wording?
Better scenario. Raptors, Hawks. Simple.
Better scenario.
57% is the winning vote. Low number of votes.
Close. Yeah.
Yeah, who do you think it is, though?
I think it's the Raptors still.
People are voting for the
Yeah.
Raptors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Final headline here. Yeah, hit me with the music, JD. Nike co-founder Phil Knight said Wednesday that he is not interested in buying the Portland Trailblazers, who are up for sale. TK, is this news?
Yeah, I guess. I guess it's news saying ain't no news coming from me, but I was just feeling like I got the exact opposite problems as Phil Knight. He's got the money, but he's old and he doesn't want the team. I'm young and I want the team, but I only have $64 because I bought a Kit Kat and a Mountain Dew yesterday.
Oh, wow. What, you bought a Mountain Dew?
I'm lying.
Oh, okay. Well,
Sounded funny.
yeah, I mean, Kit Kat was realistic too. Yeah, I treat myself to a Kit Kat or a Snickers from time to time, but I haven't bought a Mountain Dew since I was like, I don't know, 16.
Yeah, exactly right. In the gaming days.
Yeah, Phil Knight wrote in a statement 5 years ago when I was a younger man, when he was 82, I had a great interest in being part of the Portland Trailblazers franchise. However, at my current age, again, 87, I can confirm that I am no longer have interest in acquiring the team. So, just yesterday I said, oh, what about Phil Knight buying the Blazers? He must have been listening to the podcast.
like, thanks for bringing me up.
Hold on, I can get the statement out real quick for Skeets. I ain't buying them. I'm old. Is this news at all to you, Tess?
Yeah, because I had a lot of fun talking about it yesterday, so it remains news.
Okay.
What did you say? Just sign it? Just do it?
Yeah, well, I wondered if his signature was the Nike check.
Yeah.
And then I said,
Just do it.
or yeah,
Phil.
what did I say? Just sign it?
Just draw it? I don't know. I don't
I think it
know.
was just sign it. I think I said that. You were like, oh, that's like just do it.
Good.
This was, I think, the only other fascinating part of this, as we now wait to see who will be a potential buyer, is Jody Allen reportedly rebuffed Knight's offer to buy the Blazers for more than $2 billion back in 2022, and that she said like, no, we're not doing it yet, and that's probably not enough money either. Like that's my point here. It's like, good job on Jody Allen and the Blazers, Paul Allen's estate for not selling for $2 billion just a couple of years ago. Because I will guarantee you it goes for more than that right now, whoever buys it. Probably 3.5, maybe even flirting with that $4 billion. I don't know. But more than $2 billion, so way to sit on it, I guess. As it just goes up, 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 up. But Knight, too old. That's it. That's all I got for you.
Yeah, same, No, I was doing up and up and up.
Oh, okay. I thought you were
No, I wasn't raising my hand to speak on
I thought you were like, it's my turn.
speak on the shoe dog himself.
I will say something about, you mentioned Snickers, that you like buying a Snickers occasionally.
Oh, I love buying a Snickers. Because, look, let's be honest, it satisfies. It does. It fills me up.
Yeah, it's funny because here on the stream team, someone asks, No Dunk sponsored by Snickers since when? What you just said sounded like we're sponsored.
There'll be
the Wise 1477 asking a question. Yeah,
It'll be a great sponsor.
yeah. But I will say, at an ice cream truck the other day, Danielle bought a Snickers ice cream bar.
Yeah.
And I was excited.
Okay.
I was excited. But I guess this ice cream ice cream truck had it in there for like 5 years or something. It was just stale.
Stale ice cream.
Yeah,
Yikes.
stale ice cream.
Been
It was
sitting in
just
there
yeah,
forever.
like
That's a possibility.
Some freeze bite on that thing. It just wasn't good. It just didn't hit the same. I was very excited for it. That's all I got to say about that.
Okay. What's your go-to chocolate bar if you buy one at the convenience store or grocery store?
Regular temperature chocolate bar, not ice cream bar.
Regular temperature chocolate bar.
I think it's Snickers.
Yeah, right. Sweet. What about you, TK?
Satisfying.
I'm a peanut butter cups guy.
Oh, I do love those too. Love to treat myself.
Great.
Just never as filling enough though.
Nah, no, that's why they got the king size. You almost got to.
I know, but
4-packs as
dare I
well.
say even that doesn't fill me up. They're so good though.
Yeah.
It's just like a Snickers feels like a meal to me.
That's right. They got the nuts in there. What about you, JD? What are you buying?
I'm a Twixman.
A Twixman.
Twixman. I enjoy a cookie crunch.
Yeah, it is a delicious one.
Yeah.
Eat them both at the same time, obviously.
At literally the same time.
Oh.
Both fingers.
Whoa, walrus style.
Yeah, walrus style.
Crazy. Never heard of that.
All right.
Have you ever had the Twix ice cream? I saw that on
No, I
the
have
site.
not. I have not.
Yeah, either way.
Do you have ice cream trucks like come into your neighborhood?
comes by daily, actually. 7 a.m.
No.
Early.
No, sometimes there's a
Does it
a
come in?
van.
Does it
You know
come
what
in your neighborhood? Is I guess what
No.
I'm no.
A van came by and wasn't playing the song. Wasn't playing it. And then like after 20 minutes, like, oh yeah, I didn't turn it on. Then they started turning it on after like 20 minutes. Kids are like, what the heck? I thought you play the freaking song, man. Play the song, man.
Yeah, play the song.
man.
Turn it up. You think ice cream tastes better when you're hearing the song?
Absolutely,
Yeah,
yes.
I agree.
Good question, yeah.
All right, we got one game on tonight. That's it. The Thunder can close out the Nuggets in Denver. 8:30 Eastern start. That's good for the boys who play basketball on Thursday nights.
Ooh,
At
hello.
7, and we're going to be like done. We're going to be wrapping up by the time this game starts. Any predictions tonight, though? Do you think this goes game 7, baby, or can OKC win on the road here?
I'm taking Denver.
Take a Denver.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Where are you going?
I would love to see a game 7, so that's what I'm going to root for sure. Need a big game from Jokic. I think that one is pretty locked in. But Jamal Murray, I got my eyes on you. Hasn't shot better than 50% in a game since Game 5 of the LA Clippers series. He's been very up and down.
Yeah.
In game, I feel
Yeah.
like. He ran out of gas in the fourth quarter, so we'll see. We'll see what happens.
And Michael Porter Jr., I think the splits are pretty glaring at home and on the road in the postseason in terms of scoring and shooting, stuff like that. So, back at home, maybe he has a game where he's hitting those threes. We said it after that Game 5. It's like, somebody's got to help out Jokic. One of these release valves has to hit these open threes. Jamal, he had that stretch where he just couldn't hit one, and then all these other guys, they couldn't hit the rim half the time. Westbrook, Michael Porter Jr., maybe Watson can bang a couple home. So, I will counter you guys, though. I will say OKC closes it out in 6 tonight. Feeling pretty good, I think, and the confidence there with SGA getting a little unlocked. But we'll find out. Hopefully we get more basketball. We'll talk about it tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern, here in the Classic Factory. It's the Drop Podcast. We'll do some rapid fire. We might talk a little bit about Giannis landing spots.
Toronto?
Golden State?
No, I am not talking Toronto. Golden State. Yeah, look, we'll get into some Giannis sweepstakes, I guess, if you want to call it that, on tomorrow's Drop Podcast. If you're a Survivor fan, join us later today at 1 p.m. Eastern over on No Buffs. We go live on YouTube, get slipped into a podcast. That, again, is around 1 p.m. Eastern. Nora will join us here in the Classic Factory to break down the penultimate episode of Survivor 48. Hey, we had a move happen, so we have something to actually talk about.
Baby.
We'll get into it later today. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow. Until then, Clipper Bros.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Thanks for joining us. And remember, Kostas Adetokounmpo was the first Adetokounmpo to win an NBA championship.
Yeah.
Yeah, it happened.
Yeah,
Yep.
brace the day, people.